Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fola. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make this beautiful kimono crop jacket with turn-up sleeves. It is really easy to make and it's beginner friendly. If this is something you'd like to know more about, keep on watching and let's get started. So I've drawn my starting line already and I placed my fabric on fold. Both front and back are on each other. So to know the width of your fold, you are going to place half of your shoulder measurements plus the sleeve length. Half of the shoulder measurements here is 8 inches plus the sleeve length of 10 inches. So in total, what I have on fold is 18 inches. The length of the top I'm working with here is 18 inches. I'll be adding a 2 inches belt to the down part. So the total length will be 20 inches after I must have added my belt. So what I'm going to mark here is 18 and a half. The half inch is the allowance I'm going to use to join my belts. So I'm going to extend my line like that. Then the next thing I'm going to do now is to place my neck width. The neck width here is 3.5 inches. And the back neck depth is 1 inch. And I'm going to connect the points with a curve. Then I came down 1 inch from the starting line there. And I will connect it to the neck width to form my shoulder slant. Then from the shoulder slant, I placed my sleeve opening. My sleeve opening here is 8 inches. Then I'll add extra 1 inch for joining, making 9 inches. So what I marked there is 9 inches for my sleeve opening. Then I extended my line like that. So on that line, I'm going to place my bust measurements. I'm going to place quarter of my bust circumference, which is 11 inches, plus extra 1 inch for ease, making 12 inches. Then I added 1 inch for my side seam allowance. Then on the length there, I'm going to place quarter of my waist circumference, plus 1 inch for ease. And I added my 1 inch side seam allowance. Then I connected the lines together. So the next thing I did was to curve my hole like that. You shouldn't have a sharp edge around there. So that will be all. Next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out. On the shoulder point, I added ½ inch allowance like that. I didn't cut directly on the line. Then I cut out the neckline also. So that will be all. I'm going to set aside the back pattern and I'll work on the front neckline now. So for the front neckline, so on the chest line there, I came in by 2 inches from the center fold. I did the same thing to the waistline. I came in by 2 inches. Then I connected the points together with a straight line. Then from the chest line, I'm going to connect directly to the neck width, just like that. And that will be all. I'm going to cut that out. So I'm going to be having 2 separate pieces for the fronts. And the back piece is on fold. So what I'm going to do now is to open up my back pattern. And I placed my front piece on the back. And I'm going to go ahead and stitch the shoulder line with ½ inch. So this is what I have after stitching the shoulder. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to measure around the neckline. Like that. I'm going to measure that round. So what I have here is about 44 inches. So I've gone ahead to cut a long strip of fabric that is about 45 inches. And the width is 2.5 inches on fold. That is 5 inches when I open it up. You can add interfacing to the wrong side of the belt to give it stability. So what I did here was to get the midpoint of my belt and I notched it. Then for the neckline also, I notched the midpoint of my neckline also. So I matched the center point of my belt with the center of the neckline. So from that point, I placed the belt on the right side of the neckline, and I'm going to stitch it all around like that. So this is what I have after adding the strap to the neckline, and I went ahead to give it a good press so it can lay flat. The next thing I'm going to work on is the turn up for the sleeves. So I cut out a strap for the turn up sleeve. The length is 2.5 inches on fold. So I'm going to place that on the sleeve. The right side of the strap is facing the wrong side of the sleeve. Then I'm going to stitch with 1/2 inch allowance. And I'm going to do the same thing to the second side also. Place the right side of the strap on the wrong side of the sleeve. So this is it. I've gone ahead to stitch it. Then I'm going to flip it over to the right side like that. So this is what I have for the turn up sleeve. I gave it a good press so that it can lay flat. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to join the sides of my top. So I place them right side facing each other. And I'm going to stitch that with my 1 inch side seam allowance. I'll do that to the second side also. I'm going to stitch it with my 1 inch side seam allowance. This is what I have after stitching the side seam. So the next thing I did was to notch that point, the curvy point in the armhole. I gave it a notch so it can lay flat after ironing. So I'm going to give that a good press. So the next thing I'm going to work on is the belt that will be on the waistline. So I'm going to measure around what I have on the waistline. So for mine, I have 42 inches. So I'm going to multiply that by 2.5 inches so that I'll have enough rope to tie on the waistline. So this is what I have. I have my long strip of fabric here, and the length is 5 inches, also 2.5 inches on fold. Next thing I did was to get the midpoint of my waistline. So I folded the top into 2 like this, and I got the midpoint. So I measured what I have from the folded points to the opening there. I have about 21 inches. So I'm going to do the same thing to the belt. I placed the belt into 2 equal halves like that, and I notched the midpoint also. So from the midpoint of the belt, I'm going to measure the 21 inches. I'm going to mark the 21 inches point. So I'm going to notch that point also. I'm going to notch it. I'll make sure it shows on the other side also. So I'm going to flip my belt to the wrong side now. Starting from the opening there, I'm going to stitch with 1/2 inch like that. Then I'll continue till I get to the first notch that I made. I'm going to stitch with 1/2 inch allowance, and I will stop at that point. I'll do the same thing to the second side also. I'm going to stitch from that opening, and I'll stop at the notched points. So this is it after stitching. So I'm left with the part that I was going to go around the waistline. So I'm going to notch the point where the sewing stop. I'm going to notch that point like that. I'll do the same thing to the second side. So I'm going to turn that to the right side now. So this is what I have after turning to the right side. I'm left with the part that is going to go around the waistline. So what I'm going to do now is to place that on the waistline, and I'm going to stitch with my 1/2 inch allowance around the waist, and that will be all for this top. So this is it after fixing the waist belt. This is how it looks like, and I've given it a good press. You can see how beautiful it looks like. So this is the final outcome of my kimono crop jacket. You can see it's really beautiful and very easy to make. I hope you found this video helpful. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. And put on your notification bell so you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.